Hello, this is not going to be a very professional video. I don't know if you can hear Si in the background. He's being particularly loud today. I have closed the door, but male voices just carry more in a flat somehow, don't they? Like wherever I am, the boom. It's the first of a new month. Woohoo! I don't think you should wait for, the first of a year or month to, instigate change if you need change, but sometimes it does feel nice and neat and tidy if you are looking for a specific time to put things in place or wipe the slate clean and all that sort of stuff. So if it works for you, then there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Anyway, what am I on here for? I've completely forgotten my thread. I think I'm a bit of a tiz-was today because my laptop died last week, and obviously it's integral to every part of my work. And a local guy has come and picked it up this morning to try and revive it. I'm hoping he's legit and I'm hoping he can revive it. So those are my two worries, because that is the most expensive thing and most vital thing in terms of my ability to make money that I own. So fingers crossed, keep everything crossed for me. Trying to stay positive though, it's not the end of the world. There are solutions even if the worst case scenario happens. So we will tackle that if and when it happens. But I did get a couple of questions through after my initial video, so I thought I'd tackle them today because I'm trying to keep busy and distract myself from the news I'm waiting for. In one of the comments, they wanted to know more about the health stuff. It's hard to know what stuff to talk about because there's so much, isn't there? So I kind of need a bit more, like a direct question, otherwise you'll get like 2 hours of me rambling. So do feel free to come back with any specific questions. I think you wanted kind of general things to help with various chronic conditions, any advice and that sort of thing. I've seen a lot of people, particularly during lockdown actually, who have been suffering with anxiety on top of chronic illness, talking about weighted blankets. Obviously they're very expensive, but I know that there are some more affordable options out there. So maybe it might be worth trying one of the cheaper weighted blankets and seeing how you get on before you fork out a lot of money on it, because I know for some people it's hugely helpful and for others actually the weight exacerbates some of their issues, or they find it too hot and all these sorts of things. So it might be worth looking into, but it's not for everyone. So you might want to approach it conservatively. But one of the questions you did ask me was about whether I thought I suffered from endometriosis, because from your experience, a lot of people that you speak to with the likes of EDS, POTS, MCAS, etc., seem to have endometriosis. I don't think I do. I'm actually consider myself fairly lucky when it comes to my periods. They have been a little bit all over the place in the last year, but I think that's purely because I'm terrible at remembering to take my pill. I'm particularly bad at taking it at the same time every day, and I think I have mucked up my cycle numerous times over this last year. That's all my own doing. But in terms of pain, I don't think mine is anything out of the ordinary. The first couple of days are a struggle and not particularly fun, and I know that I get hugely emotional, a couple of days before I come on. But in terms of pain, completely manageable for me. It's not fun, but it's manageable. But then you ask yourself, have I got a high pain threshold because of everything else? Who knows? But I think it's fine. I don't suffer with any vomiting or nausea when I'm on my period, which I know a lot of my endometriosis suffering pals do. So no, I don't think I have any issues like that. But something that you've probably seen this online already, I don't want to patronise you, you probably are well clued up in all this stuff, but a lot of people are looking into the link with the Nutcracker Syndrome. If you haven't heard about it, I've written some notes here. So results most commonly from the compression of the left renal vein. That can lead to ovarian pain syndrome, and nausea and vomiting can result due to compression of the splanchnic. This is a really hard word to say. I might type it on the screen. The Blanchett veins. It's something that should be looked into and excluded if you have pelvic congestion, and the pain tends to increase during menstruation. So it's definitely something you should perhaps pose to the doctor if you have, any of these things and it's not been explored yet, just to make sure that's not what's going on. Because I think when you are exploring things to do with endometriosis, it does take a long time to get a diagnosis for that anyway, so you're probably having to go back and forth to the doctors a lot. And I know you really want a diagnosis, and sometimes you think that's a diagnosis that you should be getting, but it's really important that you get the right diagnosis rather than just a diagnosis. So I think as awkward as it can be sometimes at the doctors to vocalise things that you found out yourself via research or through friends or people in the chronic illness community, it's important to flag it up. So even just for your peace of mind to go, well, I did say that, I gave it a go, I did try and push for them to explore this avenue. But yeah, again, it's probably another thing that some doctors won't be clued up on or won't be so familiar with, or perhaps haven't seen the latest research or discussion in terms of its link to people that have hypermobility and EDS. A lot of people have found out they actually have this. So yeah, worth looking into for sure. I've completely forgotten the other questions, and I can't look because I use my phone to use the camera. See, I'm so out of practice with YouTube. My goodness. This has been an absolute disaster. I think, Irene, you said you did want me to offer any tips in terms of hacks, making cleaning the flat a bit easier. My biggest advice would be get a cordless Hoover. We have one from G-Tech, which a relative kindly gifted, and just the fact that you don't have to bend down, find a plug, drag the heavy cables along with you as you hoover around, the flexibility of it and the ease of it and the lack of having to bend down and all that sort of stuff really just makes it so easy. And it, for me now, hoovering doesn't feel like a chore or something to dread. It feels quite convenient and actually quite satisfying. Again, things like these, I've got a long duster thing which I will show you if I can insert a clip. If not, I will put a link somewhere. And again, to reach those little awkward spots is really helpful and stops you from stretching too much because it does the stretching for you. For a while I was using a pampas grass to get the cobwebs in the corners. Don't do that. Get an actual thing that's meant to do that. I think lots of people that give advice in terms of how to clean properly and all that sort of stuff. The cat is trying to eat the dreamies again. They would say do it all in one go rather than little stages. I think one of the decluttering experts that I read up on said, try and do it, one fell swoop, because you'll be more successful in that way. But I think for people that are managing energy, that's not always feasible or the right approach. So just little and often might be the best bet for you when you feel you're up to it. Don't just set yourself little challenges. My friend Anastasia, she does this thing where she gives herself 5 minutes to do the bathroom. Obviously that might mean she does it really fast, which might not be suitable for all of you, but setting yourself little targets and little, I guess, restrictions that mean you don't overexert yourself. So say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes in the bedroom, doing some chores, and I'll get as much done as I can, but I'll stop there, just so you don't overdo it. Because sometimes you get in the groove and because it's really satisfying and you can see the results, you continue, and then you overdo it and then you're out of action for the next couple of days, rather than doing a little bit here and there and being able to maintain some level of quality of life for a couple of weeks instead. So yeah, I just think know what your capabilities are and what your limits are, and don't push them too much, because there are ways to keep the house looking okay. It doesn't need to be perfect, particularly right now. No one's seeing it, it's fine. Oh my god, Bluebell, she's doing parkour again. Again, I think a lot of it comes down to self-advocacy, which I'm not too great at. And this is obviously if you live with other people. I know some of you will be living alone and you don't have this option, and I have to acknowledge that. I'm very fortunate in that sense. I say fortunate, I would be fortunate if I was good at this part. And this is speaking up and saying that you need help with something, or that actually today I'd rather not be bending down and doing the dishwasher, or that bit of the housework I find really strenuous. Can you maybe do that? I found myself doing a lot of the actually more strenuous stuff, like ripping up the recycling and taking it down to the bin. And I've had to speak up and go, actually, I shouldn't be the one doing that. Maybe you can do that one and I'll do that. So again, I think it's this constant asking yourself what you want and what you need, and then putting it out there to the people that can help you, which is sometimes a hard process for some of us. But I think the more you do it, the more you exercise that muscle and the easier it gets. What else? What else? I would say a big thing is don't go to bed with the washing up not done. There's nothing more depressing than waking up to a kitchen full of dirty plates and dirty rotting food and that sort of thing. Get it done before bed if you can, even if that means, you know, missing the end of the program you'd scheduled to watch. Record it, get that stuff done, and catch up with the end of the show the next day. I think if you have chronic illness, there's a lot of give and take and making sacrifices like that. But I think for the mentality and the mindset, it's much better to go, okay, I've woken up to a clean kitchen and I've got, you know, 10 minutes of that program that I can finish watching, you know? This probably is all very, very obvious stuff, and I'm sorry, I'm not teaching what's the expression? Not teaching something to suck eggs. I can't remember the expression. I remember it being weird anyway. What else? I think, Irene, you also said you like to see more charity shop bargain hauls and things like that. So maybe I'll do a video just showing you some of the bargains I've had over the last few months that are up and around the flat. But yeah, send over some questions, and maybe I'll just keep coming back and doing these little short videos that are quite easy to film, and checking in with you guys. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. And sorry, this was all over the place. It's manic in this flat right now. But yeah, I hope you got some tidbits that might be useful there. And yeah, nice to hear from you guys that did comment. It's nice to see some familiar names that I've missed seeing online due to not being on YouTube. But hopefully I will see some of you on Instagram, coming over a bit more over there. But if not, I'll pop in now and again here. Take care. Have a good week. Have a good February. New month. And yeah, see you soon.